All right, all right, all right. How are we? How are we doing today? Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome. Today I just have a little toast for you. I do appreciate people coming through. This is still fairly a new channel, and I just decided I'm like, let me come on over here and just say hello to everyone and wish them a happy New Year. We all have some goals, I hope. Nothing too fancy. I keep my goals pretty simple. It's not necessarily a year goal, but small increments, maybe quarterly, even monthly. Break them down because what ends up happening is you'll give yourself an excuse if you say, I have all year to get it completed. So don't give yourself any excuses. And also, with the new channel here, there are goals, and hopefully we'll be able to reach them. We can't reach them without you. That's one thing. It's a platform for women to come and have a conversation. And that's exactly what it is, a conversation. Also to learn, because we always can learn from each other. We have different cultures. We all have different experiences. And knowledge are different things. So you don't have to be right. I don't have to be right. It can just be your experience. And it can be my experience. Also, you see in the bottom there, the moniker there, 2020, the year of the examples and incentives. Now that is what we will be working on, is examples. The incentives will come. If you're not an example, well, that may be something you need to work on. And that's not even just for the new year, that's just forever. You should be an example for your family, your children, whatever it is you do. Also back to the channel goals. The plan is to also broadcast on Facebook because that's a different world. And hopefully the channel will grow. People will get to know what's going on over here. With the support and the financial support especially, my plan is to bring on guests, help educate, because that's always something that's important to me, is educate. Some people think it has to be a degree and they have to have PhD behind the name. You can learn something from a child. They can say one thing that you didn't even think of or recognize or even make you up to date because things, they do change. Nothing is the same as it was before. You could have done something and they're doing it a different way and a better way because things are always changing. I spoke before about like applying for jobs. There used to be a time you go into the store to was it customer service, get a paper application, take it home, fill it out, and bring it back. The stores used to have a certain day and time they would have the paper applications that you would pick up and take out. But no longer that. Now they even have a kiosk. You go into the store, sit down, and fill it out. Most everything is electronic. So again, you can learn something from everybody. And I hope that's what we bring here to this channel with your support. And then as far as with education, and that's everything for your mind, your body, your soul. One thing's for certain, we have to be here. We have to use our bodies. Our bodies is to carry us to and fro on a daily basis. And that's whether you work at home or not. You still need your body to be well enough to get up and function properly until your last days on this earth. And that's regardless if you're by yourself, with children, husband, whatever, you're going to need that body. It's one darn thing you're going to need. And you might as well have it as healthy as you possibly can. Happy New Year to you, Ash. Glad to see you. I just realized I don't have my glasses on, but I can see. I need to clean these things. And also, as far as your mind, sometimes your mind is not at rest. And if your mind isn't at rest, you may not function too well with people. And just think, you have to function with people. Again, that's whether you're physically around people for work, you have clients, you have to speak with them. To get clients, you have to speak with them. Your mind is messed up, you're talking crazy or not too functional, people not going to want to be around you or deal with you. So we want to touch on all bases when it comes down to your health and your wealth. Because your wealth, hey, wealth is not just necessarily money, that's physical and mental as well. So I'm hoping that I can bring those type of people on um, with the donations. I really have to say, daughter family was having some things going on, and I understand why they didn't really want to be in the public eye anymore. That would have been great, but that's okay. And I met a young lady. Um, she does pretty well. We spoke one time. I had her on, and her name is Amani, and she was great. That woman knows a lot of stuff. And I'll put her information either in the chat room or at the end of the video, so you can go check her out. Also, I'll be sharing books because I found that I can read a book and it could be well, not the last page, but the last chapter. And that's when I'll have my aha moment that can spark something in you and you can create something that never was. Um, an example of that is I've had a time when I used to every year decide to get out of debt. And you have a credit card with a little amount on it, wasn't a whole lot. And I just decided, okay, we want to make this a zero balance every year. And I just had that little goal. And one time I was reading this book, and the book was, it was right at the last chapter um, that I had visualized some things that I could sell and do. Because a lot of people, they'll sell candy. That's the norm. But at the time, I was able to uh, sell music and videos because they used to be a hot thing, and I used to buy them directly from the store. So some of them were still packaged up, and I'm like, you know what? What's the chances I'm gonna look at this again or even look at it? So that was my gold mine. I when I got home, because I was reading a book when I got off work on my way home, and Like I said, I got right to the last chapter and saw my gold mine, which was in my house. And what I did, I had collected those things, boxed them, took them to work, and I had put a list of everything that I had. So that way, when people came by my desk and they were able to, kind of scan through, and they're like, wait a minute, hey, do you have such and such? They have the list, and then some people be looking at the list. Oh, I want that one. I want that one. And then I was able to put their name by it. Wait a minute, hold this to me. Hold this for me till I go to cash station. Hold this for me till lunch. Hold this for me until payday or whatever it was. And that was another way to even get to know your coworkers, which you kind of know them a tad bit, but when it comes down to money, you definitely get to know them. You get to know them real quick because what end up happening, they don't keep the word. You're like, you one of them, huh? Happy New Year, Kelly Jane. Welcome. So, as I was speaking, that last chapter, that helped me. That idea came to my mind. It was a vision, actually, and I was able to, pay off that credit card. I didn't have, and that's another thing. When you sell things that you have, don't try to sell them for what you paid for them. That's another reason why you won't get rid of nothing. Because I've seen that too. And I had a friend, I wish he could be here and tell you guys because it's a hilarious story about people selling things because a lot of times we'll overvalue something. Um, we used to have for our apartment complex, there was what they had a sale every year. Get a chance to, clean your closet, put a price tag on it, and you used to have to purchase a table, have a little spot, and everybody got a chance to sell, some of the things they had. So I'm an expert at it because I started in my 20s doing that. And at this time I was in my 30s. So I have, all my stuff labeled. I have my change because that's another thing. You have to have change ready. You can't expect everyone to have the exact change. So get you some singles, have your fives, be ready for that. Have it organized so you don't be fumbling um, for, to give those people their money, their change. So um, me and my friend, we were so organized that even though it was a 4-hour window we had to sell the things we had, we were done like an hour or something. We were in and out. And, I told my friend how to do it because we just happened to end up working at the same company. So she'd already knew about how I worked. So we had, put our heads together, figured out what we're going to do, what we're going to sell, how we're going to do it. And we had that table ready, had everything together. She even had bags. Now, the only reason I didn't have bags because I didn't have any small items. And in the clothes that she had the hangers. The person take the hangers. So we got everything ready. But the people around us, they had clothes and they were selling the things. If it was, let's say it was maybe $49, they had a jacket. They were trying to sell the thing for $30. And I'm like, you can't, I mean, you can if you want to, but it didn't work out too well for them. So they ended up taking that stuff all, back home. What we did, our stuff was so low, we didn't have anything really over $10. And that's the other thing. You don't have things that are too pricey. You want it to move. That's the whole point of selling things, especially if they're used. you have it at a great deal. So that was the reason why we were able to get in and out. Didn't take us long at all, and we were, extremely prepared. So, um, so that's my story. I'm sharing, from experience of what to do when it comes down to sharing. Reading. You read, you have experiences, all those things. Like I said, you can learn from a child. It doesn't um, have to be someone with some letters behind their name. Just an experience, a book. So keep those things in mind. But I'm really hoping that we'll be able to bring that to the channel because it's so unfair for me to invite guests and not be able to give them something. And I would say if you're also a content creator or YouTube influencer, because I choose to be a YouTube influencer. That's the title that I'm going to use for myself. Um, it's a good idea to be able to give your guests something. It's almost like that. Even the church does that. Well, some of the churches they have a pastor to come and they give them a love offering. So we want to give our guests, we want to give them a love offering, if you will. So that's something that I'm hoping that the channel will generate some funds. So I'll be able to do that. And we will be having some guests. I'm not sure who the first guest will be in January. Um, we will see. And we'll probably do that on Fridays. In fact, I'm positive that's what we'll do because this will be um, not to just say a replacement, but a continuation of the Friday BGS for Women. So that's the plan. Greetings, Ruby. I can all.
Greetings, and I love the plan. The plan sounds amazing. I am so sorry I am late. I apologize to you. I apologize to everyone who came to watch, but y'all know, listen, the ball dropped earlier here. You know how it is. Got family calling and stuff. You got to keep answering the phone. You get sidetracked. You look at the phone. You're like, oh my God, it's 12:50. My bad. I'm on my way. I swear to God. I swear I was on my way. And then, I lost my phone in the gutter. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no, not the gutter. Not the
I
gutter.
know, right? I know, but I was like, nope. Okay, okay. Sure, I might be a little bit disappointed, but I'm gonna get there before the clock strikes 12 over there. So it's gonna be all right. All right, we got this.
I always say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if you do anything that's contributing to the channel, whether it's your presence, a thumbs up, a donation, you know, that's valuable. All those things are valuable to this channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate it. If you have 10 minutes, 5 minutes, couldn't make it but gave me a thumbs up, donate
Mm-hmm.
$1. I appreciate it, whatever it is. So I do mean that. And, thank you for coming. I do appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. And I mean, I absolutely 100% agree with that. I think that this attitude you see sometimes where people feel entitled, like, hey, YouTube lets you sign up with this free account, do this free stream and whatever, but somehow, you're entitled to something. You're entitled to it. It's like, none of us are entitled to even one view. None of us are entitled to one thumbs up, let alone $1.
Hmm.
So we got to recognize that, that interaction in the chat where people are bothering to let you know what they think about what you're saying, that's huge because they don't have to do that. There's a lot of people who sit there and they'll do a stream for hours and they don't get one person saying, hey, in the chat room, you know?
Yeah,
And, and that can be very discouraging. So we got to recognize and appreciate when anyone is willing to do anything to help support something that means something to us. Might not mean anything to them, might mean the world to us, But if they cared enough to swing by, like you said, and at least drop a like on your way out the door or something, that's huge. We got to appreciate that. I think we need to bring more appreciation into 2020.
Yeah. Forget that entitlement. You're not entitled to anything. What's the saying? To well, some people say be black or and die or something. I forgot, but there's a saying. But you're not entitled to anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're really not.
Yeah. Are you talking about there's only two things I have to do in life: stay black and die?
Yes, that is the one.
Yeah, I've been using that since, oh my God, I think I was introduced to it around, I think it was 16 or, yeah, 16 of my boyfriend at the time. I can't
Hmm.
remember where it's from, but he loved that. And so, he's like, I don't like have to. There's only two things I have to do, Rubes. And I'm like, what's that? Stay black and die. And I thought it was hilarious, right? I thought he came up with it. I didn't realize he got it from something for years. He let me believe he was this wizard. Uh, and then one day he told me, I was like, oh, was it Shawshank Redemption? Something. Um, but there's only two things I have to do, and it's true. You have to stay black, and one day you have to die.
Yeah,
Everything else you don't have to do. Like people say, well, you have to work. No, you don't. There's lots of people who don't work.
sure
You
don't.
know,
Hmm.
they might be okay living in a shelter on the street. They might be okay on welfare, whatever it is. There's lots of people who don't work. You do not have to work. Uh, you don't have to brush your teeth. You don't have to shower. These are things we do to be socially acceptable or to be able to stand ourselves, but we don't have to do anything but stay black and die. And you know what? With all this bleaching cream and stuff lately, I don't even know if you have to stay black. Michael Jackson proved to us he might not have to do that, but he also proved you do have to die. So, I mean, it, that's something I think we gotta keep in mind too. That's something that this year taught me is life is short. Life is infinitely shorter than we planned, and it can end even more suddenly than we were expecting. We have to appreciate life and appreciate every day that we get. We can't look so much at all the things we don't have. We just gotta look at every day as an opportunity for anything. It doesn't even matter. It might not be your opportunity to win $1 million today, but maybe it was an opportunity today to make a little girl smile, and that little smile filled your heart with all this warmth and
Hmm.
joy, and you got to walk around with that feeling in your heart. Man, that's something we can celebrate every day. Oh my gosh, look at me running my mouth past. Happy New Year, Shar. Happy
Whoop,
New
whoop,
Year. You're
whoop,
in 2020 with
whoop,
me
whoop.
now. All right, girl.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
that's
was
right.
just
Whoop,
wonderful.
whoop, whoop. Right? I'm like, I would sing the New Year song, but I only know the first 6 words. Should old acquaintance be forgot? Da 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 da. Like no one knows the rest of the words, right?
Shoot, you
Like
better than
let's
me.
be real.
You better than me. I think I know the first two words. Da, da. No, I don't even know that.
Right.
See that?
See, see, right there, right there. You know why I know actually? My ex-boyfriend, the love of my life boyfriend that I did when I was 19, his family, they were a huge, huge family, and so they always had events. And one of the things they used to do, around Christmas time, was they would get together and carol inside the house. Literally, everyone would get together. There's like 30 people, and they would sing carols. And they actually had a book printed of like every name a carol Christmas type song you can think of, they had it. And at the very end of those Christmas caroling books, and remember they had like 50 of them printed out, like it must have cost them a
Oh,
fortune. Um, but at the end of every one of them was the old acquaintance song. So
oh,
I
okay.
and so I saw it like old is spelled AULD. I remember that. And when I saw should old acquaintance be oh my God, I know the words. And I said I'm gonna memorize it, right?
Uh-huh.
4 years. I still don't remember nothing except for that first sentence, but like,
4 years later.
right,
Nothing.
right.
Yeah, I'm lyrically challenged, so I
Mm.
don't even fight it. I figured that out when I think I was about 8 years old. I figured it out, so I just left it alone. Forget it. It's all right. Can't be good at everything.
That
Just
is
a few
true.
things. That's
Right?
all matters. Just a
As
few
long as you're
things.
good at something. As long as you're good at something. That's what counts. Uh,
Right.
you know what? I didn't even know I was lyrically challenged. I am, but I didn't know I was because I used to do the same thing everyone did. You know, you listen to your tape, right, and then you keep
Hmm.
pausing the tape. So you might record a song off the radio, and then you listen to it and you pause and you write down what you think the lyrics are, right?
Right. Uh
My lyrics were never right ever. And the thing is, but I always think they are. And so to this day, I'll be sitting there singing the lyrics the way I thought they were. And people are like, what the hell are you saying? That's not how the song goes. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
huh. Right.
I never bothered to fact check. It's just that those are the lyrics. And I mean, I'm telling you, I will come up with words that don't even make sense. But it
Me
sounds like
too.
that to me, right? Yeah. So that's how I sing it. What?
What I do is if I want that song to say that, that's what it'll be. I have lots of examples, but I would have to find it because I have actually written some of it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them I've forgotten because once I learned, I stopped, saying it the wrong way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one that stands out is Michael Jackson's song, You Want to Be Starting Something.
Mm.
Um, he says, at least I think he says, You're a vegetable, you're a vegetable, you're a vegetable. I found out it says they eat on you, but I think I said they hate on you. And
Mm.
I don't know what the next part of the lyrics is, but I said you got stomach legs.
What? You're just
Of
like me.
course, that makes no sense at all, but it didn't matter. The fact that I decided you a vegetable, they ate
That's
on you. Got stomach leg, you're vegetable, you're a vegetable. I decided that the lyrics said you got stomach legs. Now you know that makes no sense at all.
none at all. None.
But I
Mm-mm.
had no idea what he was saying. So that's what I said that he's going to say, and those were my lyrics. And I stand by them
And
today.
all right then. Hey, listen. As long as you stand by it, that's what counts, right? Like,
I need I need to look it up because we have the internet now. We didn't have it at that
that's the
time. And
worst part is I refuse to look it up. I think for me, once I learn the real lyrics, the song isn't as fun for me. I don't know why. Like it's just like maybe because I think the words it's almost like songs are mystical to me because I can't figure out exactly what they say. So once I learn the real words, I'm like, oh, that's all. Like I thought I was saying something so deep and profound. When I found out it would change my life. And it's never like that. Ever. Right? Like, I was like
yeah, so it's bad. It's really bad. Um,
mm-hmm.
you know about Bose headphones?
No. What are
Um,
those?
there is a brand Bose. I don't know if
Okay.
they pronounce it Bose or not, but they're a brand and they're pretty pricey.
Mhm.
And I used to have this goal. I always would. I said I'm going to try something new that's a little pricey every year.
Mhm.
So I bought a pair. I think I had turned. Yeah, I turned 38. I think. And I said I'm going to go ahead and try these hundred. And it might have been $150, but I'm gonna try these $150 or whatever it was, $100 headsets. Let me check it out.
Right.
Earbuds. So I because they had a return policy too. So hey, but I've got them. They felt so good in my ear. My earlobes didn't hurt
Mm.
wearing them, and I'm like, these are nice. And the quality is just excellent. And I was able to actually hear instruments that I really didn't hear with other headsets that that came with your at that time your iPod or whatever. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I can really hear the different instruments. This is really clear. Well,
Mm.
also you can actually hear the words a little bit clearer as well. So I
Mm.
was able to learn a few lyrics that way.
Mm.
So one day I'm at my desk, and at this time it was a couple of years later.
Mhm.
I'm sitting at my desk And I listened to Johnny Gill because I had him on my playlist, my iPod. What was that song? Fairweather Friend.
Hmm. Okay.
So I was saying now this song at the time was at least 10 years old. Um, because that was I think was it the 80s it came out or the I think it came out in the 90s and at this time it's right at like 2003 or something like that.
Right.
So I'm listening to it and I'm humming to myself while I'm working. I'll be your fair weather friend. I'll be there to, and I just stopped all of a sudden because I'm hearing him say, "I won't be,"
Oh,
and then
oh, oh.
and then I stopped and thought about. I'm like, well, yeah. Why would I be a fair weather friend? That's flaky. Why would all these
Mm.
years I've been saying I'll be? What the?
Right. A second thought. Wait a minute. The way I was
Right,
thinking, it doesn't make sense at all.
exactly. But that's what I would do. That's what I'm like. I don't even fight it. Like, shoot, I'm lyrically challenged. It is what it is. Once I find out, okay, I know now. But that's me. Happy New Year, Don Teasy. Fitness mom. Uh-oh. Who
You're here to
lost
bring in
sound?
the New Year's with us.
Oh, there you
Mm.
are. Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, oh, right. Because I was away from StreamYards too long, I guess, probably typing in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. But yes, no, I'm glad y'all are here to bring in the New Year's with us. Just over here having a nice little conversation. Not everything's got to be about something, Like every once in a while, we got to just take the time and just have a nice conversation. We can conversate, right? I don't care. It's not a word. It's a word to me. Okay,
That's right.
2020, conversate is a word. That's gonna be my hashtag.
That's right. You can have it.
Yep.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right. I'm just saying, because I hate when people interrupt conversations. When you like, man, listen, I know it's not a literal actual dictionary word. I don't care, right? I know you're supposed to say converse.
Hmm.
Y'all know what I mean when I say conversate. I don't mean converse. I mean conversate. It's a different word with a different meaning to me. We're conversating. It's the same thing as like, okay, so Jamaicans, Western. Well, I'll say more black culture in Toronto, right?
Okay.
We'll say we politic. And now it has nothing to do with politics. Politicking means you get together with people and you're just shooting the shit, basically, right? Just what we're doing. We just talk about
Yeah.
whatever comes to mind.
Uh-huh.
It could be relationships or girls or Trump or whatever, or it could just be nothing. You're talking about the OE you drank last night. Like it's just that's what we call politicking, right?
Hmm.
And to me that's what conversating is, right? It's just like it's not conversing. It's not all intelligent. It's not all serious. We're just conversating. Like it's just it's just this kind of
That's
conversation.
right.
Yeah, there you go. I defined it
Works
for
for
y'all
me.
and everything. Conversate is a word.
Okay, so now you all know. You come over here. That's what we be doing. Conversate.
Exactly. We be conversating. And what?
We're creative like that. That's what we do.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You got to use your brain for good sometimes. We're allowed to invent words that aren't about that hoe over there or whatever, right? So
Hmm.
there you go. I'm using conversate from Old English. The end.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
and when you came in, I was just giving a story about how learning. You can learn, from a child. You can learn from other people, from their experiences. It doesn't have to be from a person with some letters behind their name.
Right.
And so I'm hoping, and this is part of the 2020, the year of the examples and incentives. I like the channel to be an example. I
Mhm.
really do because it's just so many places you can go around social media for entertainment.
Mhm.
But can you have something that just be one word to put something on your mind and encourage you? Um, put something on your heart where you can help someone else, be an example. You
Right.
know, And so that's important to me. Um, it's not that popular
Mhm.
because it's, you have to give of yourself. And a lot of people don't give of themselves. They want to take, but they don't want to give of themselves. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping that that's something that this channel will bring to others.
Mhm. I agree. Absolutely. Um, it's funny you said that because it works both ways actually. And so it's funny because I am okay learning from anyone, regardless of what the hell letters they have behind their name or not, or educate. I don't care about that. Um, so I'm okay with learning from anyone. But that being said,
Mhm.
I am not okay calling myself a teacher at all, even if technically what I'm doing in the moment is teaching. And it's because I don't have the letters. So I think
Mhm.
that's definitely an interesting thing that I have like this double standard where no one else has to have the letters, and I'll call them a teacher if they've really got some information together that they can really share with you to teach you something. But I won't say it about myself. So I don't know. I think that sometimes we might have a habit of devaluing ourselves as well based on superficial stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's like, we have to recognize that where we are in life we are always a teacher to someone. Um, and so, someone who's my age but has three PhDs in psychology, neuroscience, and behavior separately, and together, hey, they probably know more than me. Therefore, I'm not a teacher to them; they're a teacher to me. But then there'll be somebody who is maybe 10, 20 years older than me, never even taken a psychology class. They don't know nothing about it. Okay, well, I can be a teacher to them when it comes to psychology. And they can be a teacher to me about a whole bunch of things in life that they lived through and experienced I haven't gone through yet. Um,
Mhm.
so it's about valuing people for the knowledge that they do have based on however they got it. Because their knowledge might be based on experience, it might be based on, schooling, it might be based on anything at all. But the point is it valuable? Did it add something to your life? Can you use it in some positive way to bring clarity or to better your life? And I think we need to start assessing people on that level.
Okay. And, I learned from everything. I learned from fools. That
Mhm.
teaches me a lot as well. I'm like, okay, that person, those people, that group, whatever it is, they're doing that. That doesn't
Right.
seem to be working too well. Doesn't
Mhm.
seem to be the best choice.
Mhm.
Okay, look at what happens when they did that. Okay, so you can learn, and I do mean you can learn from anyone. And some people may not even have thought that before until they just heard it now. And like, wait a minute, that's true.
Mhm.
Um, some people have to do things to learn. That even though it's the wrong thing to do, they have to experience it. So sometimes experience is the best teacher.
Yes.
That's a way of learning. So
Mhm.
I'm just hoping that's something that we can do, whether it's words that we speak, our experiences that we share, ideas, something that we read, those that we bring to the channel. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me
That's
too. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's why I really wanted to. I said, it's okay to hop on tonight and just say those things because 1 year from now, let's see where we are. Um,
Mhm.
and it's a goal. And what happens if it's a goal and it doesn't work out? Well, that was just something to aim at. And that's
Right.
one thing I love from, and if you notice with my personal channel, the Just Ask Your Advice channel, I always have a Bruce Lee quote at the end of my videos. And that is one of the favorite quotes that he has is a goal is not necessarily something to reach, it's just something to aim at.
Mm.
And I read that and I just loved it. I'm like, oh, because it's not that you failed at that goal. That was something for you to reach at. That may not be for you,
Right. Yeah.
and that's fine. But it's
Mhm.
something for you to aim at. So just aim. So those are the goals that I'm, having for the channel. Bring some type of knowledge, something that can enrich you, whether
Yeah.
it's your soul, your mind, your pocket,
Mhm.
whatever. Something you can pass to someone else, because not everything that we say will help the individual that's listening, but you can pass it to someone else that may need it.
Very true. Yep. So true. And that's the thing as well. I hope 2020 is a year where we're not so selfish with the things that we're learning, and that are helping us. I think a lot of times, we don't see it as selfishness, but we are being enriched by our knowledge, what we're gaining certain places or from certain people, and then we're not sharing it. When it would
Hmm.
be so easy to mention it, to pass it along to a family member or a friend, in the way that I don't know if they still do this now. I don't see it very often, but I remember back in the days with emails. You would receive some email and it would be forwarded from 600 million people before you ever saw it. And it was some story about something or, whatever it is. And then it'd say forward to 10 friends or else you will be cursed from this day forward or whatever stupidness, right? Um, and
Hmm.
then you'd forward it to 10 friends though. Now, my thing is, right? So that was just some foolishness. Now, what if we were really doing that with information that mattered? With information that was really enriching us. Hey guys, you know what? I just read this book and it was really great. I just wanted to let you know the title of the book. You should check it out. And then you send them
Hmm.
a link to the book, where they can purchase it online and a description of it. And then hey, they're gonna buy it or not. But the point is you shared. The point is you let them know a little something about it. You don't have to get up and create a channel. You don't have to get on streams. You don't have to, but like share with your people. Let them know how you're being enriched this year and what's helping you grow and build and learn.
Yeah. Just like with what I do with the channels around YouTube. I just gave of myself. I helped other people. Um, and I was sharing information when I'm supporting a channel, when I'm telling them about another channel um, that will support as well. And
Mhm.
people were able to connect. They heard about this person through me or this particular situation. They
Mhm.
can go this get some information over here. Don't go over there, or whatever it is. So it's something that you can do, giving information,
Yep.
you know, giving up yourself. So that's why I'm like, it's just so many different ways to share, and a lot of times people don't think of it. Um, and then, like the age that we are now, or the time and age that we're in, information is mostly electronic. You
Mhm.
look at a device, get the information that way. People are not speaking to one another. Excuse me, can you tell me which way to go, which
Mhm.
way that train is going, or blah, blah, blah? They just look at a phone or whatever, look
Yes.
at the information on there. No, nothing verbal, just look at a
Mhm.
device, and that's the communication. So um, that may be
Yeah.
another reason why people are not really interested in some shows, because they only look at a show for entertainment, not for enrichment of their lives.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. It's funny as you were telling that, it just reminded me of a cousin of mine,
Hmm.
born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, right in Bed-Stuy. And, the community at the time, at least, it was very close knit and together, right? Everyone knows everyone from your street. Right, like down the street,
Okay.
everyone knows you, everyone's minding, kind of minding your business, but in like a familial kind of way, right? You know all the people there. um, and she ended up moving right into Manhattan, center of Manhattan. And she said for her, right? Because I wanted to go to Manhattan. I'd never really been to Manhattan like as an adult and in the nighttime. Everyone always talks about the lights. And so I said, well, I'm gonna come down to Manhattan. So I'll come down and see your new apartment and stuff. And she said that she was gonna be busy with work and whatever. And I said, well, I'll just stay for a couple of days and whatever. It's gonna be cool. And she said, you know, Manhattan is the loneliest city in the world. I'm like, what?
Mm.
How? Right? Because you think about it, there's millions, billions of people. I mean, Manhattan is the busiest. When I went down there, I mean, first of all, it is gorgeous. You just stand in the middle of Manhattan, just look around, everything is lit up. It's like you're in the middle of a living casino. Like it's crazy. Um,
Wow.
and there's just people everywhere, walking everywhere. They're just everywhere. It's almost like there was like I don't even remember cars. I mean, I know they must have been there. I just remember people. There's so many of them. And it was like the middle of the night, right? Not so late that the subway didn't run, but it was still middle of the night. And she pointed out something though. She's like, "There's all these people, but no one's talking to each other. No one looks at you. No one sees you, right?
Mm.
You're walking by people in the street. No one looks you in the eye and smiles at you. Just to acknowledge your existence because you're there."
Wow.
And yeah, and I didn't think about that the first day I was there. I was just looking at the sights and stuff, right? Uh, You
Uh-huh.
know, it was the second day I went. I thought about it the first day. Yeah, I didn't notice anyone. I couldn't tell you what the race of the majority of people there were. Like I don't even remember people. I just remember the lights. Um, so now the second night I went, and she's right. The only people you see talking at all are the people who are there with other people, but they don't look at anyone outside their group. The individuals who are walking, they're not looking for a friendly face to look at them or smile or say hi, or it's just you're an island in millions of people. If you didn't already go there with someone, you don't know anyone. And it's almost like impossible to meet someone because it's like you feel the leave me the hell alone vibe
Oh.
almost, right? Like I'm in my own vibe, I don't want to talk to you, leave me alone. And it's crazy because I'm like, even with the street people who are busking, right? So they're, playing instruments or doing whatever, and you're standing around in the group, and this is amazing. So you look left or look right to make eye contact with someone else to be like, wow, this is cool, right? So you just smile at so nope, no one looks, and you're like, wow, it is lonely. I can imagine if I was living here for months, how lonely I would feel being in the city without anyone else because it's like we're so determined to be islands. We're so determined to have our own independence and our own privacy from the world when we're living on top of each other like that. And I think that's what it is. So it's like, what's the problem in letting people in? What's the problem in letting people experience life with you? And then I tell you, I know for myself, I have a problem with that in general. I do. And it might be because I
Mm.
was an only child until I was 10, but like I don't like sharing I know it sounds weird, I'm married and everything, right? But I don't like sharing my space. Like I don't like when someone else knows my business. Like I will wait until, my husband's elsewhere to, use the washroom, or I will wait till my husband is outside of the house to shower or whatever. I just don't want you to know that I'm gonna go take a shower. I know that sounds weird, right? It sounds, well, why would you care? I don't know.
Mm.
I just want you minding my business. Like, why do you have to know what I'm doing? Why? I want to live without being observed almost, which sounds crazy, but I do.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I
Okay.
know it's weird. I'm very antisocial and I know that. But yeah, it's something I noticed about myself is, I'm like that. It's like, nah, you gotta let people in to share life with you. Like not just individual moments of time, but all the time. Like, why can't you just coexist with other people in your space?
Mm.
I don't know. The only person I can, my best friend, I can coexist with her for months. Well, I don't care if she's sitting right there or not or whatever, because she's exactly like me. She's not minding my business. Like she's not staring at what I'm doing to see what I'm doing and asking me what I'm doing and wondering what I'm doing and minding whether I'm taking a shower now or cooking. Like she doesn't do that. She lives,
Okay.
I live, and we're working together but entirely separately while sitting in this exact same room on the same couch. So yeah, we're both very antisocial people. That's why our friendship works out so well. But I'm like, yeah, it's a thing, I think. And I think it's something 2020. I'm gonna work on that. I think I'm really gonna work on that because I don't think I'm normal. Now, now that I'm saying this all out loud, I don't think this is normal.
It's different, and even with the explanation, that makes sense. If you're by yourself most of the time, you just learned how to deal with that. So I get that. I get
Hmm.
that totally. Um, as far as with giving, like I didn't have anyone to share with, so um, I didn't really get the whole giving thing. I've seen it in action, but and even though I give, it's still different. Well, now that I'm older, but it still was different than others because if you have siblings, you had to share. That's just how it was.
Hmm.
If I have playmates and stuff, I shared if it was something we were doing together, I guess, but it wasn't just automatic. So I get it. You had it to yourself, or you have yourself. Um, you buy yourself or whatever. So I get that. So it's not that strange, not at all. Happy New Year, Zero.
So yeah, I think you're right, and it's one of the reasons why like I always decided like I was never gonna have an only child. I mean, I
Okay,
wanted four. I've already said this. It's happening. Four. I'm running out of time. I know, but four. If I have twins or triplets or something, it makes it very easy. But I always didn't want to make my children only children for that reason, actually, because I do think it impeded me in life. Because not only was I an only child, but then, the two schools that I went to one school for junior kindergarten, another school for senior kindergarten. And, I finally stayed in one place for the first grade to, the sixth grade. But what happened is everyone else, you know, they had known each other since junior kindergarten or senior kindergarten, so that's one thing. But a lot of people lived walking distance from the school. And so when you live walking distance from the school, and everyone does, y'all all basically live in the same neighborhood. So you're already kids around you and stuff. I was bussed in always. I was never close to my schools. So because I wasn't that close to my schools, all of the people I'm meeting at school and are supposed to be my friend groups, like it's not easy and convenient for me to play with them. Let's say, right? So I didn't even have a
right,
chance to kind of have that socialization because I was the firstborn child in my family. It's not like I had a whole bunch of cousins that are older than me, younger than me, so we're always with each other. It's just like, and I had no siblings. And so I always said, I want to make sure I give my children siblings, and then they have to have that socialization, even if they get bussed into schools, even if there's no kids in the neighborhood, even if whatever, they have each other. Um, and so they're going to learn that how to coexist thing, and how to resolve arguments and how to just learn how to be yourself even when someone's watching you. Just stuff like that. They're gonna because you have no choice, like you said, because you have a sibling. So, uh, you know, try to solve my dysfunctions, my natural propensity for anti-socialism by giving my children siblings that are not 11 years younger than them. See.
yeah, and you probably the same thing as I was thinking. Have your boy first, so be a
Yes,
big brother.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Boy, that's what I want. Boy, girl, girl, boy. Right?
Oh,
You see, I figured it out. I mean, it's really crazy, sort of, but so one of the girls has to look just like me. She's gonna be a mini me, right? And I'm gonna give her the family I wish I had had, right? So of course, mommy and daddy are going to be together in love in the same house, good, stable household. She's gonna have an older brother. And the older brother is going to be, setting the tone, leading the example. He's going to be I always wanted an older brother. I always wanted an older brother to defend my honor, and, just foolishness. Um, then she needs a sister, of course. So, the girls have another girl to, just do girl stuff with and, talk about whatever. Um, right now, the baby boy, he's kind of irrelevant to her. The baby boy is for me. I want a baby boy because boys are mama's boys, right? You can have a mama's boy. And so that way, for sure, when I'm 95, I will have someone who takes me into their house instead of putting me inside of a home, and is willing to take care of me and never leave me, basically, right? Like, you're never going to abandon me. He can go and have a family and all that stuff. I'm just saying, when I'm too old to take care of myself, I'm going to have someone to wipe my ass and feed me. I'm just saying. So the baby boy is my selfish choice. The other three are for mini me, right? Yeah. I thought it all out. I know. Yeah, I really did. I'm so serious.
Mm-mm-mm. Shame.
I know. I'm telling you, my future planning got detailed, man. I had children, the names are all mapped out, what their lives would be like. I had everything mapped out, like everything. All they needed was a husband to slide into the right slot, and we were good, right? Like, just someone put that ring on my finger, I'm gonna take off running. Let's go. Um, but you know what? I made a lot of assumptions when I was younger. I just kind of thought that everyone was going to think like me, and the way I thought about things was, I guess, very old school in a way, right? You get married,
Uh-huh.
you get out of high school. As soon as you're done high school, basically you get married, and then y'all start your life together. So whether he wants to go to school and then I work nights to support him, whatever it is, y'all start your life together. First, you live in your little roach-filled shack or apartment or whatever. All right, cool. Whatever it is, y'all do it together, and you build up to something together. And then once y'all get through the worst of it, then
Uh-huh.
you start having your babies, right? That's late 20s, you start having your babies and stuff. So I always saw life like that, and I assumed everyone was going to see life like that too, but they didn't. Actually, what I found in my age group, well, the men that I was, fishing for, because I was looking for
Hmm.
men who came from two-parent homes, um,
Yeah.
right? Just because I figured that they'd understand and value marriage more if they came from one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but those men, all of them had this perception that families don't start until men are, I don't mean like just a little bit stable, I mean like secure. Like, they all had this idea in their head that they had to be, earning $100,000 a year, and be able to afford a yacht and all that stuff, and they should all be able to do this by the time they're 26. And when they can't do that at 26, well, then they're failures in life. Like, that's what I encountered a lot of. So I encountered a lot of men who were like, you're the perfect wife, right? Like, all of the boyfriends, including my husband, they were all saying the same thing. You are my wife, I want you, I'm gonna marry you, now let me just get to stable. Like, you're
Mm.
stable. You make this much a year, you this and that, whatever. Like, sure, you don't own these things yet, but we could do that together. Those what we could do that together. Me and my husband got together when I was 22, 23, right? And
Mm.
that was my thing. Well, dude, we'll just do it together. But no, in his head, he had to be where his parents basically are now, kind of thing. Like, somehow they magically started there, like, as immigrants with nothing, they came here and they started at $60,000 a year. Like, no, I mean, that's not the way it works, right? It's just
Okay. Yeah, doesn't work that way.
it does not. So I think that finding, and I hope that I can kind of instill that in my children, because I really think that you can get where you want to go a lot faster, if you want these things, if you want marriage and whatever, and but you also want a business and this and that and whatever. I think that you should do the marriage first, actually, because the statistics say you're 40% more successful in life overall if you get married. So if that's
Hmm.
the case, I really want to encourage my children to think that way. Not do a $70,000 ridiculous wedding, because y'all don't need that. You can do a vow renewal in 10 years. You'll be fine, right? But
Hmm.
get the marriage, get that idea of, all right, we're running a business now, a business called marriage, and then work on that business. And I think that going back, I would have been like, all right, are we running a business or not? No, we're not running a business. All right, next. Right? Gonna spend instead of having to get married in my 30s after being in a relationship for like 8 years. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I had a 5-year time limit. I did. I had a 5-year time limit.
Oh, Okay.
I used to tell men, you have 5 years. If you don't marry me within 5 years, or at least there's not a ring on my finger in 5 years, I'm gone. And my husband was the only exception I made for that rule, and it was like first I gave him an extra year because the first year we were dating, we weren't like serious dating, right? Then
Okay.
I gave him a second year, because I was like, well, I was still kind of in love with my ex, and he knew that, and whatever. The second year, all right. So I gave him the first 2 years. It was like, the get out of jail free card. I gave you 2 years. Um, and so when we hit year 7, I was devastated. I used to watch Say Yes to the Dress and cry my eyes out. I'm never gonna feel that way ever. No one's
Oh.
ever gonna love me. And I would do that in front of him, right? Remember, we lived together. So I would be doing that in front of him, like as if I was sitting there single. Because I was just like, why don't I have a ring on my finger? Everyone else does, right? Um, yeah, and that was like, and then my one of my youngest cousins got engaged, and at that point, it was like a slap in the face because she was the first one to get engaged in the family, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm a failure forever. I'm supposed to set the tone, right? Yeah, it was hilarious. Um, it was sad and hilarious. So I think about that, and I'm like, I wanted marriage, not a wedding. I know that's what y'all are thinking, right? All these women want these weddings. I don't want a wedding. I didn't. Okay, I got an extravagant ring, but it wasn't about the extravagant ring. It was about not saying boyfriend. I hated saying boyfriend. Um,
Oh.
I, I hated being 30, 31, and people saying, "Oh, so how's life?" Yeah, well, me and my boyfriend. I hated saying that. And then people would go, "How long have y'all been together?" 7 years. And they would just look at you. And that
Mm.
it was almost like pity. Like it was like or like I remember my uncle's wife. Now they're married. But my uncle proposed to her, shoot, when I think their daughter was either not born yet or very young. So it was very early in the relationship. He proposed to her, and she wore that engagement ring until her kid was, shoot, maybe 14. And then she took it off. I remember she took it off. She was at my mom's wedding and she didn't have the ring on. I was like, where's the ring? And she's like,
Uh-huh.
you know how stupid I feel wearing this ring? I'm a grown ass woman with a man and 2 kids and a house we own and a business we own and 2 cars and a career. And people say to me all the time, "Oh, so when are you guys getting married?" And I don't have an answer. So now I just tell them I have a boyfriend because this is ridiculous. Like,
Okay.
so she went the opposite way. She felt stupid wearing the ring without a wedding, without a date. I would have been okay wearing the ring without a date. What do you think about that, Shar? Okay, would you be okay getting engaged and a year later y'all still haven't set a date, but you're engaged? You're gonna get married, like for real. It's not a game. It's just you haven't set a date yet. Would you be okay with that, or would you actually need, like, if I'm wearing the ring, we better have a date set? What do you think?
I'm thinking I wouldn't have to have the exact date, but I like to have an idea of the year. Um,
Right.
because we would like to, well, in my opinion, I think we should have some goals set what we want to do. Um, do we want to have a house? Do we want to stay in the city? We want to move. So we have some kind of idea, and because you got to have your money. So I just would like to have an idea, not necessarily the exact date. But I get what you're saying. It's interesting. I have heard women say that before, so it's not that strange.
Yeah. I mean, clearly you got two different people, just
Mhm.
within my family, me and my auntie Natalie. I started calling her Auntie Natalie once they got married, like 2 years ago. They got married, I think,
Mhm.
maybe a year before, so maybe like 4 years ago. But their eldest daughter is 22 now. So I mean, they stayed engaged for a very long time. So I think like about 19 years they stayed engaged. But for me, I kind of almost would have been okay with that because I would feel less stupid as a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old, I guess, saying fiance. you know
Mhm.
so it's because this is someone I live with. right? Or with her, she had kids. So I have kids with you. I live with you. I'm a grown ass woman. We've been together for so long, and I'm calling you boyfriend. Like, to me, that makes me feel crazy. Like, not like if we're brand new dating, I don't feel crazy saying
Uh-huh.
boyfriend. I guess. I mean, I do a little bit. I'd be real. I'll be real. If I got divorced today, right, I would feel weird having to go back to having boyfriends, right? As much as that's the process, right? You start at boyfriend. Well, you started, this is my friend who I might have an interest in. But, you know, as much as I think, I understand the process, I would feel so weird now having to tell everyone but my boyfriend. Like,
Mm.
what, because I feel like it's almost like backtracking. Like, I already made it to marriage. Like, damn it. Like, I have to go back. Finally got the damn ring. What the hell?
Yeah, and then you have to too sometimes just look at it that it doesn't matter what other people think, or
Mhm.
don't care about how other people view it. That's another way of looking at it. I'm
Mhm.
finding that a lot of people are getting married later. Um,
Yes.
I had talked with my coworker because yes, I had to work New
Mm.
Year's Eve, but anyway,
Ugh.
I was talking to my
What kind of
coworker
evil
and
dictator do you work for? I'm sorry. What?
yeah, these companies, hey, you got to
Mm.
be here.
Mm.
So I had he came over and we were talking, and I forgot to ask him if he set a date because I know some months ago he had an idea, but he had to. They both of them actually had to regroup when it came down to their finances and things that happened. And he's 40, and I think is she 41? He told me I forgot. I think she is, but they're just about get married. Who knows? He may have a birthday and she have one, and he'll be 41 and 42 or whatever. So, but some
Mhm.
people are waiting to get married for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have any children. I'm trying to think. If he say she had one? I'm not for certain.
Mm.
Excuse me. I'm not for certain, but yeah, I'm finding that. And then one lady, she had retired at age 55, and right after she retired, her and her boyfriend that they lived together in a house in a week.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
there are some people that are getting married later, and there's some other people I just need to think about it. But yeah, they're together. So almost, I know at least good 15. And they got married, and lived together,
Mhm.
all that good stuff. So I don't know, all the details to everyone's life when it came to that, but some of them just decide, hey, we're doing this together. We can wait later. I don't know. Really couldn't answer that
Mhm.
question.
Mhm. Well, I will say on one side, right? And um I wasn't the one this is going to sound abnormal to people. I wanted the ring, right? I wanted the engagement ring because I felt like I had earned it, right? 8 years of this relation, I earned a damn ring. I know that sounds that's listen, I'm a woman. I'm gonna have some woman traits, god damn it, right? I thought I earned that ring. But I wasn't the one pushing for the wedding. Actually, I wasn't the one pushing to change anything about, like, I didn't need the big giant wedding. I didn't need to move out of the basement apartment into the house. I didn't need to do any of that. That wasn't for me. It was actually like my husband wanted it, but our parents wanted it for us. They didn't want to see us as married people living in a basement apartment. They didn't want to see us as married people without a big old wedding and whatever. So because for me, I would have been fine getting engaged, doing a little private ceremony, and then later on, when we had saved up independently on our own, okay, we could do a big thing, right? I kind of wanted, it's not even so much the legal marriage, I wanted the marriage under the eyes of God, kind
Mhm.
of thing. And then once we had that, I would have been good. But everyone else wanted, all the pomp and circumstance. And I think that's what people are waiting for actually. It's the fact that they don't want to just buy just some ring. If they're going to propose, they want you to wear whatever ring they propose with forever, but they know they can't afford the kind of thing either that you want or that they'd like to get you. Or if they're going to have a wedding, they wouldn't want a little get together. They would want to do it big, but they can't afford it right now. They don't have the credit for it, so they're going to wait on it until they can afford it. And so when people are waiting for that reason, I do get it. Like I said, for me though, like I would still want to get married privately, and then we can wait to do the big thing. But,
Hmm.
I think a lot of people are, and it's a smart thing to do, is if you can't afford a wedding, what the hell are you getting a wedding for? Right? If you don't have, you know, 40, 50, $60,000, the hell are you putting yourself $60,000 in debt for? This doesn't logically make any sense. Um,
Wow.
right? Oh, weddings, I mean, goddamn, between funerals and weddings, the money grab in those two industries is disgusting. It's disgusting how much everything costs. Um, I'm telling you, if you
Hmm.
needed to feed 200 people for like something like a luncheon, a business luncheon, it will cost you not even a quarter of what it will cost you to feed people for a wedding, even though it's the exact same food. Like there's like an upcharge because it's wedding attached. Um, and they do it on purpose. They do the same thing with venues. If you are going to rent a venue for a business lunch, let's say, it's going to
Hmm.
cost you a fraction of the price to rent the same place for a wedding.
Yeah.
They right, they try to justify it. They pretend to justify it, but it's not really justifiable because they're not doing it for a real reason, right? The reason they're telling you is all a lie. Um, you know, they're
Right.
they're really just doing it um, because they know they can, because they
Yeah.
know you'll pay, because they know that the wedding industry has been sold to you since you were 4 years old and you want a piece of it,
Yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
my husband, for example, one of the only things he insisted on in our wedding is that there was an open bar. And I was like, well, why do you care about an open bar so much? And so for him, the way he saw it is when you don't have an open bar, it makes you look cheap or poor. Right? Yeah, this is how you see it. And for him, he didn't want to look either of those things. And he felt that, as a man, he needs to provide the open bar. Um, and not a
Hmm.
cheap open bar either. It needs to be a real open bar. And so, for him, he said like, that was going to reflect on him. A lot of the wedding, I don't doesn't reflect on the man. He said he felt that that was something that reflects on the man. I was like, oh,
Okay. All right.
right. Right. Even with
Out.
that, the
Hmm.
expectations and the way people look at you and everything, your dress, your this, your that, right? You're wearing a white dress. I can't believe she thinks she can wear a white dress. Like, come on, no one's getting married as a virgin these days. Get out of here. Right? If that was a real requirement, there wouldn't be white wedding dresses anymore. Every dress would be off white or pink or purple or something because come on. I've known one. I've been to 20 weddings or so. And out
Okay.
of all of those weddings, one of them was a virgin at marriage. Not a born again virgin. My mom was a born again virgin, right? Um,
Hmm.
she had, gotten baptized, given her life to Christ. From the second that she got baptized, she literally never had sex again. So that was 14 years. So that's a long time. Um,
Okay.
right. So I'll give her that. But born again virgin is different than real live virgin. And I knew one. That's
Hmm.
a 20 weddings. And out of anyone I've ever spoken to in life, I still don't know anyone else who has said, oh, yeah, well, I knew someone too. Right. Like, no, like there are no virgins getting people aren't waiting to marriage to have sex. They're waiting for love, right? They're waiting for I want to wait till I'm in love, until I feel this way, until I'm going to be treated that way, right? And so once they find that magical feeling, that's what they're looking for. Then they think about the marriage part after. Whereas in before, it used to be the opposite way. right? Oh, I
Hmm.
love you. Hey, quick, marry me so we can have sex quick, right? Like,
Make it official.
right, exactly.
Why don't you go wow wow?
hmm I'll tell you, Shar, if people had to wait until marriage, people would not be waiting as long to get married. Because I've
Yeah.
noticed that in the church, like in the real, like not in this front in church, but in real church, like in pious Christian church here, where people are literally getting baptized and not having sex anymore.
Uh huh.
Those marriages are happening quick. When I say
Uh-huh.
none of the from the engagement period to the marriage period, none of that is lasting anywhere near a year, even like 6, 7 months max. Like nobody's waiting, and it's because they can't have sex. So if you want to be able to have sex with this person, you better make the wedding soon. That
Hmm.
that's what it is. And I
Oh.
think that's why people are willing to wait, because you think about it, you change your whole entire perception if the whole time you were waiting to build something or waiting to have money for a wedding and stuff, you couldn't have sex with nobody, including her. How long you think they'd be waiting? Hmm.
Hmm. Well, the
Hmm.
hormone says something totally different a lot of times.
It, that's why you get a lot. You have a lot of 17 and 18-year-old boys getting married. How you mean? They have to wait? Wait? No, I can't. Look, there's this one girl who's willing to marry me, which means she'll have sex with me after the. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Yep, you. I'll marry you. Let's go.
Yeah, that other head be thinking like, let's do
Mhm. Mhm. Let that other head think for you.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how that would work if you end up waiting.
mhm.
Nowadays, I don't see it happening. Especially
Mhm.
if once you start giving into the hormones and nature and all of that good stuff. Normally, when you start having sex, you don't stop. You don't go back.
Mm.
So
Right. No,
well, I
definitely not.
tried at 16. I'm 25. I'll wait. I'm good. I tried it once. It was all right.
Mhm.
No, it normally doesn't work that way.
No, definitely not. But it's funny because I had a mentality that was slightly different, because to me, I'm like, just because I had sex once with that guy doesn't mean I have to have sex with you. Um, and so I could date several people between, guys that I would end up having sex with. Because I still didn't think it was a necessity. And I think that to an extent, people feel almost obligated. Like,
Yeah.
well, since I dated that last guy and had sex with him, and I'm not a virgin, then it would almost be unfair if I date you and I don't have sex with you too, because I'm not a virgin. And so there's almost, I think there's like a little bit of a psychological obligation thing going on.
And I think also so many people they're expecting it. It's what they're considering the norm. Um, if you get their title boyfriend, you're gonna hold hands and
Mhm.
go where no one else has gone before. We're going to do more than just some heavy petting. So, um,
Mhm.
and then also I've mentioned before about the trading of sex for merchandise, or goods and
Mhm.
services, because a lot of people, for many different reasons, don't have the finances, or women, and for a hairdo, a couple of tracks, they perform a
Mhm.
little something, something, and they get that boyfriend didn't work out. Sometimes they get another one, to replace them, so they can continue with the tracks and everything else they need, and or sometimes they get a second one. They're dating two at the same time, having sex with both of them. So I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. Not just love and hormones, but sometimes just
Mhm.
for necessity it's being
Mhm.
done as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't
Oh,
know. I think it's a good. I
interesting.
mean, I think one way or the other. In this day and age, I do think we could do with a little bit more. marriage. But I think that would come with changing our perception of what marriage is and what it means. Um, because we could encourage people to marry at higher rates, but then our divorce rate will just go up. Like I don't
Yeah.
think that marrying at higher rates or marrying more quickly or marrying younger is going to help us the way it might help other cultures because of
Hmm.
our general perception of what marriage is and its value to begin with. Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's a different beast. As it
Mm-hmm.
used to be, I must say, it's a different beast.
Unfortunately, and the thing is, I'm so pro marriage, right? It's like pro choice. I'm pro marriage. Like, ooh, hold it. Do you see what Fitness Mom just? I have had 4 men propose to me before 20. No sex and you will get married. Ah, gee, 4 men. Boy, I
That's
had
very
1 man.
interesting.
I damn. I never. Do you mean like real, actual proposals, Fitness Mom? Like, do you mean like, or do you mean like men who say that they want to marry you, or do you actually mean like literally got down on one knee, offered you a ring kind of proposals? Because I mean, I don't doubt it. I believe that she's right. And men are going to propose more frequently if they can't have sex with you, but they very much desire to. It depends on how much they really want to sleep with you, but and how much other factors obviously are working to an extent for them. But yeah, no, I believe you. It's just I'm just wondering what you mean exactly by propose. Real proposals. Damn. Okay.
Hmm.
So then
Well,
I
that's
have a
interesting.
question. Because I want to know then, Fitness Mom. So they were real proposals. So did you accept any of these proposals, um, or no? And if you did or didn't, like, why did you not accept them? I guess that would be my question.
Inquiring minds would like to know. Yeah, I don't know. I can recall the dating and I want to marry you and all that kind of stuff, but that many, let me see. Well,
Mhm.
mm, no, and there was no sex involved. There was no proposals. No, that didn't work. That didn't work for me. I don't know if it's a different time, or just the location, religion. I
Mhm.
don't know. I think some of those things are involved,
Mhm.
or maybe
Yeah.
they're blowing smoke up your behind. I don't know, but yeah. I wore the ring for a while too. I took that thing off.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I think after maybe
Hmm.
I wear it for about 2 years or so, and it just seemed like it was a little trouble in paradise. I just decided to take it off and just put it in the jewelry box and go with the flow to figure out what we were gonna do, and I just and it didn't happen, but yeah, I did wear the ring for a
Hmm.
couple of years. And that was that. Happy
Okay.
New Year, Happy New Year, fitness mom or me.
Oh, hey, Fitness Mom. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hey.
Happy New Year. I haven't talked to you since last year. What's been going on?
Right? It's
Been
been so long.
relaxing in my bed.
All right, nice and cozy. Nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
um, I accepted all the proposals, and then 3 of them I just got them to break up with me before we actually got to anything serious.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because
So,
the thing about it is, when you sometimes if you turn a man down, he gets all butthurt and then starts taking it out on. That was my thinking back then. If you turn him down, he'll get butthurt and he'll start taking it out on the next woman. So
mm,
what I did was I would accept the proposal and then I would start acting a certain way to get them to not want to marry me anymore.
oh, okay. Look at you. You're just plotting and everything. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I really don't want to marry you. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do with this one.
And the one that I actually wanted to marry, I married.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
so now I think, right, because I don't think a lot of people can say they've been proposed to 4 times. I think there's a lot of people who can't say they were proposed to once. Um, so, sex or no? I mean, because yeah, okay, you're like, no sex before marriage. That's a thing, but
Mhm.
I've spoken to some virgins on here who can't get a guy to stay with them because they won't have sex with them. So,
Well,
what was your magic secret?
yeah, it's all about the way you approach everything in life. Everything is all about the approach. Now, when I
Okay.
was with the men, I wasn't like, no, no, no sex, no sex, no sex. I would just not put myself in a position where they would be able to try to get that.
Okay. Okay.
See, look, if you're sitting there and you're dating a guy and you're
Mhm.
always over his house late at night, and then after a while you're like, no sex, no sex, no sex, he's gonna get tired of that. After a
True.
while, you're leaving him with blue balls all the time. So he's gonna associate you with that. Like, oh my God, every time I'm with her, I always just end up horny with no release. And I'm just like, oh, if you want to
Mm.
marry you, you gotta be the good time. You gotta be the person he associate with good time, not blue balls. That's the last thing you want to be.
So
True.
you only seeing them when the sun was up. Okay.
Basically. And
Uh huh.
when the sun was up or at gatherings and stuff like that, or he'll come over to my house. Like I never went to their house or stuff
Mhm.
like that. He'll come over to my house. I'll do things for him. And then, he'll go about his business
Mhm.
because I was courting. These men were courting me. So the fact that you cannot let a man consume all your time, because again, letting him consume all your time will be something that would keep you from getting marriage.
True.
Going to his
True.
house is something that would keep you from getting marriage. Having sex is something that will keep you from getting marriage, because of the fact that he's not. Men like to work for things, just like when you was talking about how the men didn't want to get married because they wanted to get themselves together.
Mhm.
Thing is, men don't like to share credit. So if they would have built something together with you, sometimes those men will start to resent the woman, and they're like, I like her. If I built with her, I might resent her, because like when you said your husband, he wanted the open bar because that reflected on the man. So he's
Right.
obviously someone who's very self-aware of how things reflect on him. Now, to share credit with his wife, like, well, we did this, instead of saying I was the man that did this. Like Jay-Z said in his song, I'm not sharing half my money like you wrote half my raps. I'm not having that.
Mm. Mhm.
They want to be the one, like, I did this. This is my accomplishment. I am the man that did this.
Mhm.
And
That's
so
true.
when you share things like that, when we built something together, sometimes they'll be like, well, I'm not exactly the man that did this. Like, I couldn't do this without her.
Mhm.
So he wasn't man enough on his own. Just like with the sex. I was even talking to BGS about that. Because I was like, if you're not gonna have sex with a man, you gotta do this when you're young. You can't pull this off when you're older. And he was like, yeah, because when a man is young, he has the highest amount of testosterone. Plus, he's also very competitive.
Mm.
So, I mean, he can have sex as long as you don't mind him having sex with other people. Then he'll be always competing for you, and his other needs to get met somewhere else.
Okay. Okay. So in these so they're basically like you said, because they're courting, so they can have sex with other people, just not you.
Mm.
That's what it is.
And that
Oh.
makes you different.
Okay. Okay. So in this paradigm, then, right? So with the one you actually were gonna marry, or even with any of them, you accepted the proposals. At what point does that cut off, where like it's no longer okay for them to sleep with other people, like the wedding night, or is it before then? Like,
Well, the thing is, when a man has decided that he wants to marry you, you have to have that talk. Like, do you want? Is a monogamy something you want? And if
right.
it is, will you be able to have it with me? Because I mean, if a man wants you and wants to marry you and you're getting married, you can decide if you want to have sex with him before or after, if it's only going to be monogamous. Because, like, like Russell Wilson with Sierra, he decided that he was going to marry her and they were courting towards marriage. So he wasn't having sex.
Right. Okay.
I mean, men don't need to wait until they could just decide, hey, this is the person I'm marrying and I don't want to have sex with anyone else. So, I mean, that's up to him. And that's up to you two to decide together.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. It's funny. It's just because it reminds me of my mother's experience. So because she was having sex, right? I mean, obviously she had me. Whoops. But when she was engaged the second time, that's when she found God, and they found God together. They got baptized together, and so it was like, okay, well, now no sex until the wedding. The thing is, they were already engaged. There was already a wedding on the books. There was a wedding dress already. I had been measured. I had my dress for my bridesmaids. Like, everything was already a go. They had bought a house together. We live inside this house now, right? It's all a go. But what happened is, like, to avoid temptation, right? My mom said, okay, well, he can sleep in the guest room, right? Because we can't sleep in the same bed anymore. That's not going to work. It's going to be too much temptation. And before the end of the 7 months to the wedding, 7 months, they broke up. And they broke up over not having sex in essence. That was really what the problem is. Now, the second experience, this was 14 years later. 14 years later, my mom still is, born again virgin. And, she meets the man proposes to her. He knows in advance, like, listen, you're not ever having sex with this woman unless you marry her. This is very clear. My mom is a pastor. She don't play those games. All right. And he knows this. And, they very rarely saw, I mean, I think she saw him at night, like later at night, a few times. One was New Year's Eve, which is when he proposed and stuff. But, in general, my mom's not that person. You take her out to dinner or whatever, you bring her home, or he'd hang out at our house and we'd all watch a movie together. Like, it was never anything like that, like you said. But even him, it was about 3 months before the wedding, and he started losing his mind. Like, he was calling her and all but threatening, like, I'm going to leave you if, kind of thing. Well, why can't we just have sex before? I'm going to marry you, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, listen, if this is that much of a problem for you, then leave me. It's cool. Don't worry about it. We're fine. Right? So obviously he couldn't have the sex before marriage with her, and he did stay, and they did get married. But I find it interesting, I guess, some men just, they can't handle no sex before marriage, I think.
They just choose not to. That's the difference.
You don't think that some men are just more affected by the no sex than some? I think some are just more affected. Like, they literally, some men are just so sex is driving so much of them that they really can't handle this concept of, no, I can't have sex with other people, but I also can't have sex with you until marriage. Like, even if there's an end date, it's like they just can't handle it. Some men are like, I can control my dick. I'm not, run by it.
That is a choice. If it was that bad, they would be raping people. That is a choice.
I mean, fair enough. I don't know. Because I feel like, for example, like, some people are more emotional than others, right? I mean, this is not emotion sex, but I feel like some people are more emotional than others, right? So some people are just more easily emotionally triggered and offended, and it's like they're not trying to be offended, but they just they take things harder than
others. An action, and if one person says they don't want it, and you're trying to force it on them, that's a little deeper than just, I can't control myself. Because if it's that bad that you really can't control yourself, then you would have just left the person or cheated. But the fact that they were trying to force her is more of a control issue and then a horny issue.
I think it was more of a convince, not force, but a convince. Like, why won't you? Why can't we just? This isn't fair. The tantruming over the phone. That kind of foolishness.
That's still a sign of a man who needs control because he's not respecting her boundaries as a woman.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I hear you and I feel you on that. I feel though like well, I also think personal choices that you make before you even meet someone make a difference. So for example, my best friend, another born again virgin, um, but no sex until marriage. But the man she met was a pastor who also believed in no sex before marriage. So the idea that he met a woman who actually wants to stick to that was a good thing to him. Like, yeah, sure, he might have some moments of temptation, and so he's just gonna avoid anything that tempts him too much and whatever. But I think psychologically in his head, this is what he wanted anyway. It made sense to him. Whereas I think, with a
Hmm.
guy who no, I was never looking for no sex before marriage. Like I'm good having sex right until the wedding night, right? Like they're good. I think a lot has to do with that mentality as well. Like, what do you think about sex? Is sex just part of normal relationships? Do you take a lot of intimacy from sex? Because some people, one of the main ways that they feel love and intimacy is through sex. So without it, they really feel a lacking, I think, you know?
And those people wouldn't date someone that will wait till marriage for sex.
They definitely should not. That's for sure. Like,
Yeah, I agree with that. They should not. I found that they do because they like that big booty. So, but that's an interesting experience.
The thing,
One day others will
oh,
share with us. Go ahead.
the thing about it is, like men will always test you because
mm,
what you say and what you do can be two different things. Just like
mhm,
what happened with him, with your mother. Like he might have just been testing her because what she say and what she do might have been two different things.
mhm, mhm,
And so when she passed the test and stuck to her own convictions and her own boundaries, he was like, "Fine, I can't get you to bend, so I'm going to go ahead and just wait with you." Because
mhm.
it was his decision, his choice. I mean, in the end, we all test people. Like your husband will test you, your wife will test you, whatever. You will always get tests. It's
Mm.
whether you stick to your boundaries and stick to your guns and stick to what you're saying that will determine a lot of things. Like she could have just been like, okay, fine. And he would have just had sex with her. They still probably would have got married or whatever. But I mean, it was still a test because children will test you, men will test you, women will test you. You will be tested on what you say. And you got to stick to your boundaries.
Fitness mom, I would say really quick before you go, Shar, tell you how right you are. Because not only have I actually seen men who've done that, but and I know a couple people who are pregnant as a result of that slipping. But here's an interesting fact. So before my mom, this man was engaged to another woman, and this was a woman who was saying no sex before marriage. But she ended up having sex with him before marriage and she got pregnant. And so his last child is a child that was born from that. And they didn't end up getting married. Interesting. So, it's funny whether he's doing it consciously or subconsciously.
It's
He likes
kind
Christian women and he clearly it's a test because he's done it before, only last time he won. And he ended up with a baby as a result. So you're so right.
it's
Wow.
consciously. Men will test you. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's going to happen. Period. If you say something, men will test you. Your women will test you. Just like when he said he wasn't ready for marriage, but yet still you was crying. Say yes to the dress.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm.
test. He failed it. Not saying he failed it, but you know what I mean.
Oh no, he failed. No, absolutely. No, seriously, the man really proposed to me because we were in this church in Jamaica, and the man, it was this whole thing. It was this whole hullabaloo centered around me. Um, and about 45 minutes into this thing, after all this foolishness, this man made me put my hands on every person who lined up to pray for them because he said I have this gift of healing, whatever. So now my husband, who had been outside doing God knows what with whoever, comes in. He sees the line. He sees that I'm there, and he said, "Oh, I'll take part to be supportive." Right at this time, we're just dating. So he joins up the line, and we're going up the line. And now the guy goes, "Okay," and that's it. Right before he gets to him, who's at the end of the line. And my grandmother goes, "You're not gonna let her pray for her husband." That's exactly how my grandmother speaks. I swear I just mimicked her perfectly. So anyway, right? And the guy goes, "Oh, she's married. I didn't know." And I said, "No, we're not married." It's like, "Oh, you're not married? Okay. How long you been with her?" And he said, 7, 8 years. Okay. Well, do you love her? Yeah, you love her. Well, if you really loved her, you would be married to her right now. You'd be willing to marry to her anytime. If you loved her, you would get down on one knee and you'd pray and you would propose right now, right? And
Oh
everyone
boy.
around me starts getting all hyped up, right? And you know what I did? I didn't get all hyped up. I went, he's not gonna do it. Like my heart didn't skip a beat, or I just said, he's not gonna do it. Listen, I know. They're like, no, he's gonna propose, he's gonna propose. I said, don't worry about it. He's not gonna do nothing. So when he actually got down on one knee and proposed, I was like, this is all for show. I'm telling you, the whole time, I'm like, yo, this is all for show because everyone's around, right? And he's like, we just talked about this. He likes the keeping up with the Joneses. He likes his appearance of things, right? So I figure I'm gonna get this proposal, right? There's no ring or anything, right? And then we're gonna go home, and about 5 years from now, I'm still gonna be talking about, didn't you propose to me already? Where's my ring? Where's my wedding? That's what I thought was gonna happen. So the fact that that actually resulted in an actual ring and then an actual marriage sometimes still blows my mind because I'm like, it was really not him, if we're being honest. Like, he didn't do it. Someone kind of gave him a big public nudge. What was he supposed to do? Go, nah, man, nah, I'll do it later. Like, he didn't have a lot of options at that point.
Hey,
Pressure.
the thing is, at the end, as long as y'all happy, that's all that really matters. Because I mean, I didn't even get that for the one that I actually wanted to marry. It didn't even do that. Like the three that I didn't want to marry made big deals out of it. And I'm like, no, sorry. I didn't say no, but in my head I was like, why? But then the one that I actually wanted to marry, we're just sitting there watching TV one day. It was January 3rd, actually. No, January 2nd. And we were just sitting there watching TV in the living room because we were just, having a good time watching TV. And he was like, "Hey, how do you feel about marriage?" And I was like, "I like marriage, of course." He's like, "How would you feel about marrying me?" I was like, I don't mind. No, wouldn't mind that. He said, "Will you marry me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Not
Are
no
you serious?
seriously.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, that's very
very
informal.
Sure. And he's like, "Well, we're engaged then." That's exactly what he said. And I was like, "Well, no, you were just asking me, will I marry you?" And I was like, he's like, "Yeah, I just asked you, will you marry me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I will marry you." He's like, "Yeah, you did say that."
Wow.
No, you mean you was asking me like in the future, would I marry you one day? He said, "No, I didn't say that. I actually, will you marry me?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "We're engaged now."
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my. Okay, so from there, like, did he have a ring at the time? Did y'all go buy a ring? How did that work?
So I still thinking he was bullshitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know what I did.
What?
I was like, okay, fine. We engaged. If you serious about it, it was January 2nd and it was a Monday. I said, if you serious about it, we get married on Friday. He said, bet then.
Wow.
I said, okay, we get married Friday. Cool. And so we watched TV and I was sitting there, went about my day. Tuesday came, Wednesday came, Thursday came, and then Friday came, and we got off work. And he's like, "So you ready to go get married?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Wow.
He said he was gonna get married Friday. I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, let's go over to the courthouse. Like, sure. And so he drove to the courthouse. Like, what?
Wow. This is all basically like on a bet. You thought like at some moment he was gonna call chicken, right? Like, yo, he was.
All righty then.
Yo, they basically got married on like a dare and a bet. Like when you're waiting for the other person to be like, all right. I was just kidding. Right? You're waiting for the other person to do it. Like maybe he's telling the story the same way. Y'all both waiting for the other person to call chicken. No, I'll walk in. I'm okay. I'll get married.
He was serious. And then we walked in and I was like, okay, the paperwork is here. And he said, I already got this, that, and other. He had this stuff ready.
Wow.
Okay. Are we really about to get married? And he's like, if you want to, let's go. I'm down. Because the thing about it was, we had talks about marriage. That's why I thought it was fake. Because
Right.
we always had talks about marriage. And he was, because he had wanted a big wedding. And I was like, I don't want a wedding. And he was like, why not? And I was like, well, my mother died. All my siblings, because I was raised an only child because my siblings didn't make it that far past birth.
Aw.
I was like, I'm the only one. I'm an orphan. And I was like, you got this big family, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people on your side and not a single person on mine. So I just don't want a wedding like that. And he
Right.
said, fine. I said, what would you want to get married? I was like, I always thought maybe one day I'd get married to the justice of the peace if I ever find someone who was willing to do that with me. And he said, my mother, they want me to have a wedding. And I was like, I know. And I was like, so I don't know. I guess one day we'll have a big wedding and I'll just be embarrassed. And I started to cry because, that was a big fear that I was going to have a big wedding. And you could see and I mean, at first he was like, his family is still on my side too. And I'm like, but it's still one family.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, my dream was to have it at the Justice of the Peace, just me and the person. So that way, I won't be reminded that I was alone.
Right.
And I ended up having it at the Justice of the Peace, just me and the person. And I wasn't reminded that I was alone.
Aw. That's nice. And you know what? He remembered that and he made sure that you got to have that, despite who cares what his family wanted. Right? I mean,
furious.
And his family's not the one who got married. You did. Right? You're the bride. Like people forget that. Like, sure, men might think about their wedding, whatever, but little girls dream of getting married their whole lives. It's something in their heads, in their hearts, whatever. Like, you're the bride. That was the only thing that was most important. And he thought of that and remembered that and cared about that. That's amazing. That's such a nice story.
Extra really crazy about that? The fact we got married in like 2001, right? And we got the marriage license and everything. And to this day, he still has the original.
Oh, really?
Everything. Okay. All the signatures and everything from that day.
Aww.
And
that is really nice.
Condition, and he uses it. And I'm like, what? I was like, yeah, you crazy. All these years, you still got this same one. I went through thousands of birth certificates and social security cards and everything else but it's still got the same one.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you don't really use your marriage certificate as much as you might have to use birth certificates. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, when I carry that thing around, I am so hype. I am hyper aware. I know at every moment of the day where that damn piece of paper is. I just know. Like, it's just, I don't know what I think will happen if I lose it, but I feel like something horrible will happen if I lose that damn piece of paper. Like,
you want to know one last thing real quick?
What?
I never got a wedding ring.
Really? Still to this day.
Because look, you talking about somebody that loses stuff, right? So it took me, I would lose my car keys and everything. I do not wear jewelry at all because every time I've tried to wear some kind of jewelry, I've lost it and it's never to be seen again in the abyss of somewhere. So I said to him, I was like, whatever you do, don't buy me a wedding ring because we will forever be replacing it.
Oh no.
So one of his first gifts for me was a watch. And I love that watch. And I lost
and you lost that watch. So then do you have like, I don't know, do you believe in like getting tattoos and stuff? Because some people do that tattoo ring thing.
Tattoo ring. My best friend actually, she also loses things. Her husband have their wedding date because she got married the same time I did, and they have their wedding date tattooed on their finger. But I don't like needles.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the thought of them stabbing me with a tiny little needle.
She said stab.
I know, right? Like she's making this sound real violent. Like the way that they do tattoos is like old school.
They stabbing me.
Jason is not coming. It's all right.
Right?
I had wanted a tattoo at one point in life, but then every time I go down to this tattoo parlor or anything like that, and they pull out that thing, and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna stab me, and I leave.
Mm.
So no tattoo. So basically, no tattoo ring, no jewelry of any kind. The marriage lives in our heart.
I even wanted some piercings because I got 2 piercings. Only reason why my ears are pierced because
Wow.
baby, they had piercings,
Oh.
but I had wanted more piercings. But then I was like, they're gonna, they're gonna stab me, and I'm like, no, I don't. So no tattoos, no piercings, none of that.
Okay.
Well then, all right. So he just carries the marriage in her heart, and that's okay.
And you want to know
Yeah.
bad about that? It's
What?
you say you're married and you don't have a ring, people always look at you weird.
That is just true fact. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think of it like, really, but you don't have one. Like even you keep it at home. Like there's no ring. Like and I know it's weird because it's like it's this symbolic thing that we've turned into this multi-billion-dollar industry yearly and diamonds and whatever. But like even just getting like a simple like I don't even care if it's made out of like sterling silver, like just something like I can even like to me it sounds weird, right? But then for you it makes sense. So
we had gotten little fake little rings for once for symbolism because of the fact that everybody who went out after a while I noticed that as soon as I say I'm married, I have to flash of the ring finger and there'd be nothing on it. So I had actually went to like Walmart and got a little ring just to symbolize it. And I lost that in a week. So I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Wow.
I'm done. I lost my little Walmart ring and I was done. I'm done.
Yeah, there's no point. I lose everything too, but I'll tell you, with this ring, just because I am hyper aware of how expensive it is, that's really what it comes down to. So like if I take that ring off I won't take it off in public, right? I have a whole bunch of rules for taking off this ring. I cannot take it off in public for any reason. I cannot take it off and put it down on anything other than a solid piece of material. So it can't be on a bed, on a couch. It has to be put down on a table. Can't take it off in the bathroom. Can't take it off. I have so many rules for this damn ring because I know me and I know that I lose everything too. And this is probably the one piece of jewelry that I have ever worn for any significant period of time and I have not lost it. So I totally get what you say. I'm like, I literally had to make life rules so I wouldn't lose it. And even then I'll lose it, but I didn't lose it because I know according to the rules that I never ever break, it could only be in 2 different rooms in 2 different places. That's the only place it could be. If for some reason it has to come off for a medical procedure or something like that, because the first time I took them off for a medical procedure, I was having an MRI and me and my silly self, I left it. So I gave them the rings because I didn't know where to put them, and they put them on like this shelf. And so I go into the MRI and do the MRI. It was a painful process for me. So I'm just worried about getting my clothes on and going home because the MRI was at night and stuff. On my way, I am like 5 minutes away from my house. I start panicking. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot my rings. Oh my God, I'm hyperventilating. I even did an Instagram video. Like, I don't do anything on Instagram, but I did an Instagram video because I needed to panic to the world, right? And so we're racing back now. Like, it's race flying back to this hospital because all I'm thinking is those rings are gone. Those rings are gone. My life is over. I don't know how to live. So, I get that. Thank God. They let me back into the place to go get the rings and they were there. Okay, great. So from there, I made a rule. So if I have to ever take off my rings for a medical procedure, they go into my wallet in my purse. It's the only place that I can take off my rings in public is for medical procedures when I have no choice, and then they go into the wallet, into the zipper part in my purse. Like I'm telling you, life rules. Because otherwise, those rings would have been gone long ago. Like the
I
one time I took them off thoughtlessly, I left them there. Like
I am so bad. Like I will sit there, like I have sat there and paid someone, going to the store and pay someone with my debit card at the debit machine and left the debit card. So
Oh boy.
yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and then and the only reason why, because it was so funny, because I have a smart home, and my smart home detects because I lose my keys a lot. I got a smart home, so when my phone is near my house, it unlocks everything. So because I will lose keys, and I was at the store. I had the phone in my hand, and I checked out, and I got in the car, and I drove home, and then I went to go to the house, and my house didn't unlock, and I said, "Oh shoot, the
oh
phone still
no.
be at the store."
Oh no.
Oh boy.
When you want to hear the worst, my mom has done this now twice. Now she's actually done it a lot of times, but the times that are significant are these two times. What my mom, because my mom before she used to be a treasurer for her church back in the days, and now she's a pastor. And my mother has, on two different occasions, she has had all of the money from the offerings and whatever she's going to the bank for the month in her wallet. Okay. And this woman has taken that wallet and put it on top of her car so she could get her keys
Oh
to
boy.
open the car and driven away with her wallet on top of the car. So it obviously falls off. And then when she finally remembers, the wallet's gone, right? Thousands, tens of thousands of dollars every time. So amazingly, because you think about how much money is inside these wallets the two times she's done it, it's been returned full of money, fully returned. They somehow track her down and they call her and say, I found your wallet. And then they give it back to her and all the money's inside of it. And I'm like, you are
Wow.
literally the luckiest person on the planet. I remember the first time it happened because she was like hyperventilating and bawling. Like she was so upset, right? Because she's very flighty, but you can't be that stupid. Like how are you gonna pay this back to the church, right? And then it's been like, I'll say 15 years since she did it the first time. So you would think, all right, she's learned now, it's not gonna happen again. Just did it this year. Just did it. And I'm like, and it got returned again. I'm like, how? Nothing of mine has ever in my life been returned. Never once. I've never had anything. Once I lose it, it's gone forever. Even if it's just like a hat. If I lose like a $2 hat on the bus and I go back to the bus, the hat's gone. It's not a lost and found. I will never see that hat again. I once had a book of my poetry. Like I wrote like I used to write like poems and slam poetry and stuff, right? So it's not valuable and it's fully used. So it's not like you could even use it yourself. And I've forgotten that on the bus. And it's gone forever. Like I'm telling you, I'm never the lucky one that someone takes my stolen stuff or my lost stuff and at least puts it in the lost and found. Nope. Once I lose it, it's gone forever. I know, right?
Wow. Well, I
I
am
know.
going to end the stream now. We did 2 hours,
All
and
right.
got to keep mindful about the time. I want people to watch it. Not
Mm,
5 hours. I'm not watching that. But
mm,
thank you everyone for coming
Hey, real
through.
quick, in case y'all didn't know, what you call it? Wait before I even say to make sure that BGS still on. Yeah, BGS them are doing a live stream over on Kendra's channel in case y'all want to do the after party.
Oh,
oh,
okay. Well,
okay.
thanks for
Cool.
letting me know. Thank you everyone for coming through. I do appreciate it. Toast to everyone and to 2020. Looking for growth and success in you and the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And see, we will live stream again as scheduled Friday and Saturday, and hope to see you then.
Have a good night.
Have a great one.
All right. Good night, everyone. Cheers,
Cheers.
y'all.